Good day, everyone. Today, I want to summarize the right in respect of education in Malaysia and its limitation. In Malaysia, education rights are regulated by Education Act 1996 and the Education Amendment Act 2002. This act provides a framework for the provision of education and the rights of students. They include provision for the establishment of school, the appointment of school staff, and the management of school. The Education Act 1996 provides that every child has the right to attend a school and the government has the duty to provide school. It also provides for the establishment of private school and the regulation of their operation. The Act also provides for the establishment of special school for students with special needs. The Education Amendment Act 2002 further amended in the Education Act 1996. It introduced the concept of Malaysian education system and provided for the establishment of the Malaysian Qualification Agency (MQA) to oversee the implementation of the Education Act. The Act also provided for the establishment of the Malaysian Curriculum Council to develop and review the curriculum. However, there are limitations to this right. The Education Acts and the Education Amendment Acts are subject to the Constitution of Malaysia, which provides for the supremacy of federal law. This means that the federal government has the power to make laws that override state laws. In practice, this means that the Education Acts and the Education Amendment Act can be overridden by federal laws. Moreover, the rights provided by the Education Act and the Education Amendment Act are subject to the resources available for the education. The government has the power to allocate resources for education, and this allocation can be influenced by a variety of factors, including political consideration and economic condition. In conclusion, while Malaysia provides a framework for the provision education and the right of students, these rights are subject to limitation imposed by federal law and the availability of resource for education. Thank you.
So today I would like to present about right of respect of education in Malaysia and its limitation. In Malaysia, the right of education is enshrined in the Federal Constitution. The Constitution of Malaysia provide the supremacy federal law. This law is referred to the principle that law enacted by federal government. These include laws related to the allocation of resources for education, the regulation of private school, and for establishment of special school for students with special needs. Secondly is availability of resources involve highlighting how inadequate or unequal distribution of resources can hinder the realization at the right of education. Factors including political consideration and economic conditions. Next is political consideration. Education system in Malaysia is also influenced by political consideration. Example, the government may prioritize certain type of education over others based on political consideration, such as consideration for educational system in Malaysia. Lastly is economic conditions. Availability of resources for education is also influenced by economic conditions. Education, which can limit the right provided by Education Act and the Education Amendment Act. For example, financial barrier. Economic disparities can create financial barrier to accessing education, such as some family facing difficulties may struggle to afford school fees, transportation, and other educational expenses.
Looking into the challenges, first point will be persistent issues such as unequal resource distribution. In some school systems, there is a big difference in how resources are given to schools. Schools in rich areas may have really good facilities, experienced teachers, and the newest educational tools. On the other hand, schools in poor areas might not have enough basic things like new books, enough supplies for classrooms, or modern technology. This uneven sharing of resources can make a cycle of unequal education. Students in schools with less money might have more problems in their studies because of these challenges. Second point will be lack of financial support. Lots of schools have financial problems, so they do not have enough fund for important things like hiring good teachers, taking care of school buildings, and arranging fun activities outside regular classes. Not having enough money can make the education not as good. Students might not get to do extra programs that could help them learn more or use school resources. Also, schools might find it hard to keep great teachers or get new ones, and this can make the learning experiences not as good for the students. Last point will be insufficient teaching support. Teachers are really important in helping students to learn, but they often have problems like not getting enough chances to learn more about their job, having too much work to do, and not getting enough help. For example, new teachers might struggle because there are not enough programs to guide them in their job. If teachers do not get enough support, they might get too tired and stressed, and this can make their teaching not as good. Fixing these issues means spending money on teaching training programs to help new teachers and things that make the teaching environment better overall. Moving forward to next, which is future prospects. The first point will be potential improvement through policy changes and innovative practices. Schools can make learning better by using new rules that focus on bringing technology into classrooms and trying out new ways of teaching. For example, using digital tools for fun educational games and personalized learning can make education more interesting and effective. If there are changes in these rules that support and give money for these ideas, it can make schools more exciting.
So my part is government policies and initiatives. In Malaysia, the Ministry of Education manages the education system, consisting of preschool, primary, secondary, post-secondary, and tertiary stage. Firstly, to overcome limitation in Malaysia education system, efforts are directed towards assisting economically disadvantaged students. Scholarships, grants, and financial aid programs have been established to ensure that financial constraints do not hinder access to education. Additionally, targeted infrastructure development initiatives are underway in undeserved and remote areas to involve building and improving educational facilities to create a conducive learning environment for students who may face geographical challenge. These combined efforts aim to bridge gaps, making education more accessible and equitable for all, irrespective of economic status or geographic location. Next, in Malaysia, inclusive education policies are designed to promote inclusivity across all demographic groups. Firstly, they involve implementing measures to ensure that every student, regardless of their background, abilities, or characteristics, has equal access to quality education. To achieve this, teaching methods are adapted to accommodate diverse learning needs. Educators employ a variety of strategies such as personalized instruction, varied learning materials, and flexible assessment methods to cater to the unique requirement of each student. The aim is to create an educational environment that embraces diversity and foster a supportive atmosphere where every learner can thrive and reach their full potential. Basically, inclusive education policies in Malaysia work towards breaking down barriers and creating a more equitable and accessible learning experience for all students.
Hi, I'm going to talk about conflicts. First, implement policy and initiative to ensure equal access to education for all Malaysians. Conflicts are scholarship program in Malaysia for equal education access may face conflict due to budget constraint with opposition from those prioritize different government or advocating alternative solution for educational and disparities. And second is investigation how cultural and religion factors may influence the content and delivery of education in Malaysia. Conflicts may arise over balancing cultural or religion consideration with the push for a standard national curriculum in Malaysia. Some advocate for cultural sensitive while others stress the importance of the unified curriculum for national identity. Balancing these perspectives poses challenge.
Myself, Kugan, will be presenting the solution for the topic rights in respect of education in Malaysia and its limitation. First, implement policies and initiatives to ensure equal access to education for all Malaysians. For instance, the Malaysian government could establish scholarship programs for underprivileged students to promote inclusivity and bridge the educational gap. Second is investigate how cultural and religious factors may influence the content and delivery of educational in Malaysia. For example, explore how the education system in Malaysia accommodates or restricts the cultural and religious rights of diverse communities.